37 ultra rare penny coins that are worth a lot of money that you do not want to miss in this video. Listen, a lot of the time, it's typically the smallest little detail on these coins that could mean the difference of a ton of money. This is the only video you'll need for rare coins, so make sure you save it and share it with a friend or family member who you care about. Now, this first coin right here sold for $19,200, and here's why. So this coin was graded by PCGS at a mint state 61. Now, the highest achievable grade to get in grading is 70. This one's quite far away. Now, if it was to be in better condition, it would have brought more money. A thing that you guys really need to pay attention to are coins that are incorrectly struck on a wrong planchet. And by planchet, I just mean the piece of metal that they use at the US Mint where they produce these coins. Now, sometimes, regardless if it's intentional or on accident, these coins will get struck on the wrong piece of metal, just like this coin that was accidentally struck on a Philippines Centimo planchet. Now, this is the question I get all the time, guys, so pay attention. The question is, how do you know if you have one? Well, outside of the fact that the color is completely wrong, this coin does not have a back as we see, and on top of that, the weight of this coin is going to be incorrect. So what you need is to have a scale to weigh your coins. That's one of the most important things when you're looking for errors that could be worth a lot of money, guys. If you need a scale, I do have them down in the link below, but you do not need to do that. Let's hop into this next coin. So this coin sold for $63,250, and here's why. So it's important to know that 1909 was the first year they ever started producing the wheat cent penny coins. Before that, they had the Indian cent coins that are indeed genuine, but we'll talk about those at a different time. This one is from 1913, and there is an S mint mark below the date. Now you may be asking, what does that S mint mark actually mean? Well, it means where the coin was actually produced. Your coins can be produced at either San Francisco, Philadelphia, Denver, and sometimes West Point, but that's pretty rare. Now you won't find the West Point or W mint mark on this coin, but San Francisco is a better mint, typically because a lot of the time they simply produce less coins than Denver and Philadelphia, but that's not always the case. Another thing to understand is that San Francisco a lot of the time produces proof coins. Now this is not a proof coin, but I'll show you a diagram of the difference between a regularly issued coin and a proof coin. Now proof coins can be worth more money than normal issued coins, but that's not always the case. What you need to know here is that this coin graded by PCGS at a mint state 66 red. Now what do I mean by red? Well, these penny coins can come in either red, brown, or brown depending on what the coin was struck on and how the coin changes in color over time. What you need to know is that red coins are typically worth more money than brown and red-brown coins, but that again is not always the case. Pay attention if you have a 1913 coin because it could be very rare and valuable, just like this one that graded by PCGS at a mint state 66 and it sold for $63,250. One of my favorite coins here. This one sold for $138,000, guys, for this 1999 penny. So a beautiful example. This one graded by PCGS again at a mint state 66 red. So it does have the red color. It did grade pretty highly, only 4 points away from the perfect grade of 70. Now you'll see along the rim of the coin there, it looks like part of the coin is missing. Well, that's true. Part of it is missing. You can see on the left that the L in Liberty is gone and In God We Trust is half cut off. Now you may be thinking, okay, that's the reason why, right? Well, not entirely true. Sometimes there can be a little bit of grease in the hub when striking coins that causes this look. So you may be asking, why did this coin sell for $138,000? Well, it's not until you flip the coin over that you can see that this coin was accidentally struck on a Roosevelt dime reverse. So this is what collectors call a mule coin or a double denomination coin. We all know what a mule is, essentially a donkey plus a horse, and this is a dime plus a penny, so they call it a mule coin. They also call it a double denomination coin because the back is a 10 and the front is a 1. Regardless, you need to be careful because there are people out there that are harmful and scammy, and they will try to cut coins in half, color them, and strike them together to make them appear to be this way. That's why third-party grading companies like NGC and PCGS are so crucial for the success and stability of the hobby, to make sure there aren't bad people doing things like that out there. The good thing about a grading company like NGC or PCGS is they guarantee the grade and authenticity. That means if they accidentally grade a fake coin, they are fully liable for that. Now, keep in mind, these people that are grading your coins are professionals. They do this all day long. They know what to look for, and it's very uncommon for anything fake or altered to get by them. What you need to know is that if you find this coin or anything similar to this, you got to keep it very safe because the condition is so important to the value when it comes to rare coins like this one. I would love to add a piece like this to my collection, but it is way out of my budget, coming in at $138,000. This coin sold for $8,812.50 to bat. Now this one was graded by PCGS at an AU 55. This is a 1943S 1 cent coin. Now this coin looks very beat up and in bad condition, but it's actually at an almost uncirculated grade by PCGS graded 55. Again, we can see that S mint mark below the date standing for the San Francisco mint where this coin was produced. So as I said before, guys, we got to make sure that we're weighing our coins. When we see a coin like this, we may think that it has environmental damage, which it may have a little bit of, but the big thing here is that producing coins is not a clean process sometimes. There's a lot of oil and dirt and grease that's involved with coins in general, but the main reason why this coin sold for $8,812.50 is because this coin was accidentally struck on a silver dime planchet. Again, guys, planchet just means a small blank piece of metal that the coin was indeed struck on. You can see this coin looks way too large of a design for the specific planchet, which makes sense because the weight is going to be completely wrong on this 1943 penny. If you have one, let's keep it safe because it could be worth a ton of money, just like this one that sold for $8,812.50. $126,500 for this 1914 wheat cent penny. Remember, 1909 is the first year, and typically the older the coin is, the better the condition it's in, the more money it will bring. Now, one of the first things you might notice on this coin is on the bottom right hand side of the coin, there's a little bit of discoloration. Now, that is what collectors call toning. It's a completely natural process that happens when the air will oxidize with the metals in the coin, changing the color of the coin. Now, this is not necessarily a bad thing, but it can be depending on the eye appeal and the person buying the coin. Now, some toning will look more appealing than others. Essentially, what you need to know is that discoloration like this only really matters on high-grade, uncirculated exampled coins. If your coin is beat up and it has toning, that does not really matter, and it will not increase the value for the most part. So this coin does not have a mint mark. That means it was produced at the Philadelphia Mint. Now, the majority of the time, if your coin does not have a mint mark, you typically will see that around the date, especially on wheat coins like this. No mint mark typically means Philadelphia Mint. Now, the interesting thing here is that this coin was produced at Philadelphia, like I said, but it is a proof coin. Now, Philadelphia not oftentimes will produce proof coins. It's typically San Francisco that mints proof coins. What you need to know is that this is indeed a proof coin. I'll show you the difference between the two and what you need to look out for. But essentially, because this coin graded so highly at a PCGS proof 68, and this coin is so incredibly old at this high of a grade, the only way that you could typically find a coin like this is if it was preserved in some sort of collection. But someone hit a payday because this one sold for $126,500, $21,600. So this is actually two coins. I'll just be very brief on these two, but these are 1974 S1 cent Lincoln coins. Now, these coins were struck with 1973 Panama coins. Now, I do enjoy some world coins like these. I'm not the most knowledgeable about them, but what I do know is that if you have something crazy looking like this, it's going to be worth good money. Now, there are some people out there that will try to manipulate coins, put them together, and then smash them with a hammer to make them appear to be in air, when in reality, you can't really do that because it will look very obvious to someone who knows what they're looking for. What you need to know, guys, is if you find a rare Panama minted coin like this, which is an error, you can have a coin worth a ton of money because these two coins sold for $21,600. This coin sold for $4,321, and here's why. As I said before, 1909 is the first year they ever started producing these wheat cent pennies. Now, the 1909 comes in 4 different varieties that you need to pay attention to. This one sold on eBay, guys, so if it would have sold somewhere else, it could have brought more money. But essentially, you have the 1909, you have the 1909 VDB, you have the 1909S, and then you have the 1909 SVDB. This is the 1909 SVDB variety. Now, again, we know what S means, right? That means it was produced at the San Francisco Mint. But what does VDB mean? Well, VDB stands for Victor David Brenner. He's the initial engraver and designer of the wheat cent penny. Now, his initials are on the back bottom center of the coin. The US Mint only produced a small quantity of these coins before they realized how distracting his initials were, so they removed them. If your coin has VDB on it, it will increase the value of the coin. This one just so happened to be graded by PCGS at a mint state 65 red brown. Remember the diagram that I showed showing the difference between red, brown, and brown. As I said, collectors will collect all different varieties. Some like collecting just red coins, some like collecting all of them. What you need to know is that this 1909 SVDB coin graded by PCGS at a mint state 65 red brown sold for $4,321. Alright, so this is absurd. This coin sold for $31,200, which is so much money for this coin. So this coin was graded by NGC at a mint state 61. This is indeed a mint error. Now, when you first look at the coin, you can tell that the color is off. Now, I've had a lot of coins pass my hands in my time, and I've seen coins that look like this because of the color going through some environmental damage. But this coin weighs differently, guys. Remember, the weight of the coin is so important. So this coin was accidentally struck on a Curacao 25-cent planchet. Now, excuse me if I had any mispronunciation there, but what you guys need to know is that the weight of this coin is incorrect. The color is incorrect. Everything about it is wrong, which makes it appeal to collectors because something like this is incredibly rare and valuable and so hard to find. But all these things combined allowed it to sell for $31,200. $51,750 for this 1993 D 1 cent coin. And now this coin looks a bit similar as a previous coin. You'll notice that there's a ton of toning here. The color is a very orange, vibrant color, which some collectors will pay a premium for. This coin was struck at the Denver Mint, as we can see with the D mint mark below the date there. Not going to spend a ton of time on this specific example, but once you flip it over, you'll tell that this is indeed struck with a Roosevelt dime reverse. What you need to know is that if you find one like this, you got to keep it safe, guys, because this one sold for $51,750. This 1972 penny sold for $7,005. Now you have to be very careful because this one that sold on eBay is a bit skeptical to me. When I first look at the coin, the listing doesn't have the best pictures. There's only one bid on the item, and the seller does not have a single feedback, which is a big red flag. This coin, in my opinion, is not worth anywhere near $7,000, but it looks like someone paid for it and bought it because there is one bid on the item and it is a sold listing. But guys, be careful whenever buying or selling coins because there are scammers out there just like this person that sold the coin for $7,000. $15,275 for this 1950 D 1 cent coin. Now this one was graded by PCGS at a mint state 67 plus red with a CAC sticker. Let me quickly and briefly break down everything that I just said so it makes complete sense. So the D below the date there stands for the Denver Mint where the coin was produced. This one was at the 67 plus grade. That plus designation seems like a small detail, but it means a lot because a grader thought this coin looked very nice, so they gave it a plus designation. The plus will result in more money during an auction nearly all the time, so you want a plus if you can get it. I'll show the red diagram again, showing the difference between red, brown, and brown, guys. It is important to know which one you have, especially in a high graded coin. And lastly, this has a CAC sticker. Now, CAC is another third-party company that after you get your coin graded and authenticated, if it's worth it, if it's a high value coin, you want to send your coin off to a company called CAC. They will look at the coin and consider putting their little sticker on the holder if the coin looks good enough. Now, you will not always get the sticker. That's what makes it valuable. But honestly, that sticker alone will dramatically increase the value of your coin because this 1950 D 1 cent coin sold for $15,275. $3,552 for this 1914 D coin. This also has a CAC sticker, as we can see there. This one graded by PCGS at a mint state 63 brown. BN stands for brown. As we know, 1909 is the first year they produced the wheat cent penny, so this one's pretty old. But when it comes to these really old coins, what it really comes down to is the condition. If the condition is really good, that means the value will be high, just like this coin that went in auction on eBay and sold for $3,552. Now, one more thing I want to talk about briefly when it comes to selling your coins is if you want to sell them online, the way to get the most money for them, in my opinion, is not doing an auction unless you're a well-known business that does auctions a lot, but most of us are not that. The best way to make the most money online is to put the coin at a very high price and then bring that price down every week or so. What that'll do is it will weed out the people that want to get a quick buck and it will try to find the people that are willing to pay the most money for the coin. Now, one thing I want want to avoid is you accidentally posting something online when you think it's a rare coin, but it's actually not. That's why understanding the values of coins, knowing how to research is so important. I have a completely free ebook down below. You can get that for free, but you don't have to do that. Just keep doing your homework and research because again, guys, this one sold for $3,552. $33,600 for this 1930D 1 cent coin graded by PCGS at a mint state 67 plus red with a CAC sticker. Now, when I'm looking at this coin, honestly, it looks like it just came out of the mint. It looks brand new, which is crazy for a coin this old. As we know, this is a D mint mark coin standing for the Denver Mint. This did get the plus designation, which is a good thing. It also got the CAC sticker. Now, one thing you'll notice on this coin is that it looks like it's a bit struck off center. Now, back in the day, there's a variable acceptance rate that does not make it an error. This is not something that will increase the value whatsoever just because it's a bit misplaced there in the center. The main reason is because, like I said, the high grade, the plus designation, the CAC sticker, and the fact that it's a 1930D coin allowed it to sell for $33,600. So when you're looking at the front of this 1969 coin, you can see there's a lot of excess going on the right hand side of the coin. This coin sold for $4,920. Essentially, the color here is way off. There's multiple errors going on in this coin. What this is called is this was struck on a clad dime blank with early blockage obverse on the reverse of the coin. A bit complicated sounding there, but essentially what you need to really care about is the fact that if your coin looks like this, then you have something very rare. Now, again, there's going to be people that try to replicate this, but you simply cannot do this for multiple reasons. You can't simply put a different colored coat on it and then strike it with a hammer. It will not look like this at all. There are clear defined features of the difference between a coin that is factory damage like this versus after factory damage. You guys got to keep your eyes peeled for something like this because it could be worth a ton of money, just like this one that sold for $4,920. $34,500 for this 1916 1 cent wheat penny graded by NGC at a proof 67 red. As we said before, typically proof coins are produced at the San Francisco Mint. This one has no mint mark, which means what, guys? It means that this coin was produced at the Philadelphia Mint. Now you see some small brown speckling there around the coin. That is just a little bit of oxidation happening from the air and the metals reacting with each other. Not a big deal, not something that collectors will want to decrease its value for. But it's pretty simple when it comes to these older coins, guys. I mean, you got to know how to grade the coins, at least looking at condition, get the right lighting, and making sure that you're not missing any big scratches or surface wear on the coin from circulation. This 1916 coin from the Philadelphia Mint graded by NGC at a proof 67 red sold for $34,500. $5,163.25 for this 1941 proof Lincoln wheat cent penny graded by NGC a proof 67 plus red. What a mouthful there, but what a beautiful coin this is, guys. Look at the shiny luster on the coin. This one's only 3 points away from the perfect grade of 70. It has the plus designation as well. Not sure why the seller did this, but the person put $12,500 value in the title and then went ahead and sold it for the $5,163.25. What you need to know, guys, is that if you have a 1941 coin that's shiny like a proof coin and it looks like this, you could be in for a treat because this one sold for $5,163.25. $36,000 for this 1924 S 1 cent wheat penny graded by PCGS at a mint state 65 red. Now, one thing that I need to mention is a simple supply and demand thing when it comes to these coins. Depending on which facility minted the coin will dictate how much the coin is worth in combination with other factors like the condition, the market timing, and other factors like if two collectors get in a bidding war. Certain coins from different mint runs will simply have different numbers of coins produced. Like I said, it's a simple supply and demand thing. If there are less coins produced for a specific mint, that coin will have more demand because there are less of them, especially in a very high grade like a 65, which allowed this coin to sell for $36,000. This one also sold for $36,000. This is a 1927 S 1 cent coin graded by PCGS at a mint state 65 plus with a CAC sticker. So I won't bore you with too many details because we know what the plus designation is. We know what the CAC sticker means. It just means the coin's really nice with the grade. This one also has a bit of red toning on it, as you can see on the right hand side of the coin. Toning again is a naturally occurring oxidation process that can increase or decrease the value depending on what it looks like for the specific collector collecting it. Some collectors like toning, some don't like it, and some have preferences of if something looks good or bad. It all comes down to their opinion. This 1927 coin was graded very highly by PCGS with the plus designation, and it allowed it to sell for $36,000. $38,400 for this 1969S 1 cent coin. Now this is another coin that I really do enjoy seeing. This one was graded by PCGS at a 63 red with a CAC sticker. Now you can see some clear gashes on the coin. That is from the mint. So when these coins are being produced, they are being thrown around to add other coins through the rough environment of the mint, causing them to have nicks and gashes. But PCGS still realized that this is factory damage and it's still a mint state coin. Now what you need to know on this coin is that there is a doubled die obverse. Obverse means the front of the coin. Doubling happens when the two hubs will strike each other, causing an error on the hub and leaving a large run of coins with doubling on them until a quality control manager sees what's going on and changes out that hub. What you need to know is that if you look at Liberty on the left, the date on the right, and In God We Trust at the top, you'll see some pretty apparent doubling happening there. This coin, because it has a doubled die obverse, sold for $38,400. $43,200 for this 1915 D 1 cent coin graded by PCGS at a mint state 67 red. Again, red is typically a more valuable variety when it comes to the red, brown, or brown type coins. This one was struck at the Denver Mint, as you can see with the D mint mark below the date there. Guys, if you find this coin, please do not spend it without finding someone who can actually be trustworthy for you and get the full value of the coin for you. The last thing you want to happen is for you to come across a coin like this and sell it for a few $1,000s, which is still a lot of money when in reality the coin sold for $43,200. $10,010 for this coin. Now this is a 1943/2S 1 cent Lincoln steel cent coin graded by PCGS at a mint state 67. Now these steel cent coins are typically not worth a lot of money whatsoever, maybe a few bucks at most depending on the condition of the coin. Now the thing is, you got to be careful because these 1943 steel coins can have a rare variant of a double die obverse in the date there, which causes it to be a 1943/1942. So keep your eyes peeled for that. What I recommend is getting a magnifying glass or a USB microscope to help you see if there is a 1943/1942. Now on top of that, you're going to need the high grade like this person. They got a 67 on it, which is a very, very high grade, which is the main contributing factor as to why it sold for $10,010. $45,600 for this 1928S 1 cent wheat penny graded by PCGS at a mint state 66 red with a CAC sticker. So it's really challenging to get a high grade like this in a coin from 1928, but there is that S mint mark. You can see some small little imperfections on the coin. That is simply all natural, or else PCGS would not have graded it at the 66 grade. On top of that, when the person sent it to CAC, they gave it that CAC sticker. Now remember, if you send 20 coins to CAC, you may only get a small handful of stickers back based on how nice the coins look for the grade. Just remember, if you find a coin like this, please keep it very, very safe. You don't want to drop it or damage it or dent it because it will instantly decrease the value, because this coin sold for $45,600. This coin sold for $86,250. This is a 1969S doubled die obverse coin graded by PCGS at a mint state 63 red. Now again, remember, you can see a lot of these nicks and gashes. They are completely factory, or else the company would not have graded it at a 63. Biggest reason here why it sold for $86,250 is because this is a doubled die obverse coin graded by PCGS. Again, the doubling happens as a variance error that should not have happened, and it came out on a good amount of these coins, specifically from 1969. Now doubling can happen on different dates, but 1969 and 1955 are very prevalent dates to see very dramatic doubling happening. If you have a doubled die obverse coin like this, you're in for a real treat, guys, because this one sold for $86,250. I enjoy this coin. This is a 1922 wheat cent penny graded by PCGS at a mint state 65 brown. This one sold for $82,250. Now you notice I said brown. That's because it falls within the brown category when it comes to the wheat cent pennies. Now this coin should typically have a D mint mark around the date there, but it does not. That means this is a no D variety of the coin. Now, if you notice, the coin looks a bit worn down on the front. Well, that's not really the case. It was just a weak strike. If you turn over to the back, you're going to see a very bold strike. This is a known variety for this coin, and it makes it really hard to come across. The thing is, the back of the coin, it needs to have what's called a strong reverse. If it does not, it's not going to be worth anywhere near this amount of money, because again, this 1922 no D strong reverse coin graded by PCGS at a mid-state 65 brown sold for $82,250. Remember earlier I was talking about the 1955? Well, here it is. This one graded by PCGS at an AU 58. This one sold for $3,995. Now this one has the doubled die obverse on it. Like I said before, if this one would have graded a bit higher, it would have brought a lot more money than this. But still, I mean, there's people out there that are able to turn 1 cent into thousands of dollars like this person. Now keep in mind, it is really challenging to find a coin with doubling like this. It is few and far between, but it definitely is possible. So we want to keep our eyes open for any rare coins like this that sold for $4,995. Here's an interesting one that sold for $5,040. Now this is a 1968 D 1 cent coin. You can see immediately that there's something going on with Lincoln's face there. This is what's considered to be a misprint error. It was accidentally overstruck on a Panama 1 cent coin. A good way to tell if you have this coin is if you weigh it, it's going to weigh off. It'll weigh 3.1 grams, whereas a typical 1968 coin should not weigh that much at all. If you have one, it could be incredibly rare and valuable because this one sold for $5,040. Big one here. This one sold for $149,500 for this 1926 S 1 cent coin. And now this one was graded by PCGS at a mid-state 65 red. Typically, these older coins are really hard to come by, especially in high grades like this. This is a relatively older sale, but it really depends on the market conditions for a coin. For example, you don't want to be selling your coins at a market low, like during the crash of 08-09. You want to be selling your coins right before a crash so you get the most money possible. Now, before the virus in 2020, we thought the collectibles market was going to go down dramatically, but it actually did the opposite. People were nervous, so they put money into collectibles. This may be the same case in the future, that people start wanting to put money into collectibles, but we're not really certain for sure. All you got to know, guys, is that if you have a 1926 S wheat cent penny, it could be worth good money because this one sold for $149,500. I won't spend too much time here, but this is an Indian cent penny coin from 1864. It is indeed genuine. They first started producing these in 1859 and stopped producing them in 1909. This one has a very beautiful color, luster, and eye appeal from the toning happening on the coin. This is indeed a proof coin graded by PCGS 65 red and brown. If you have one, keep it safe because this one sold for $161,000. I won't spend too much time on this coin, but this one sold for $126,500. Now, this is a 1969 S coin. You can see the toning on the top left-hand side of the coin. As we know, that's completely normal and natural. That can influence the value sometimes when it comes to these coins. What you need to know is that in this specific instance, it did not matter as much at all. What really matters is the doubling that's happening on the date at the bottom right, Liberty at the left, and the motto "In God We Trust" at the top there. If you have all three of these going on, you could have a coin worth a lot of money because this one sold for $126,500. $258,500 for this coin. This is a 1909 VDB coin graded by PCGS at a proof 67 plus red and brown with a CAC gold label. What a mouthful there, but you can see the colors here are very abstract, and that's from the toning of the coin. This is relatively seen as a positive toning that will increase the value. Next, for a coin from 1909, 67 is a pretty much impossible, crazy grade to get. There's no reason why this coin sold for so much money. Now, if you want to find one of these coins, the toning is not going to matter unless it's in really high grade. The best way to probably find a coin like this will be at a collection or at a yard sale or something like this. VDB, remember on the back bottom center of the coin stands for Victor David Brenner, the initial engraver and designer of the coin. Remember earlier I said the collectors will collect red, brown, and brown coins. Well, this one's a red and brown, and it has some beautiful rainbow toning going on with it, which allowed this coin to sell for $258,500. $114,000 for this coin. I'll be very brief here because we went over a few of these already, but essentially 2001 D coins you got to keep an eye out for. Regardless regardless of all this brown dotting going on, you're going to notice that once you flip it over, this is indeed a Roosevelt dime reverse coin. So make sure that your coin is actually not glued together and painted on. Getting it certified by a company like NGC and PCGS makes the most sense when it comes to a coin like this. You're in for a jackpot if you find one, because this coin sold for $114,000. $408,000 for this coin. So I'll be very brief. Again, this 1944 coin, typically 1944 will have a different color on the coin. They won't look steel like this, but essentially this coin was accidentally struck on a zinc coated steel planchet graded by PCGS MSA 66 with a CAC sticker. So what you need to know is that during the war efforts, they needed bronze for ammunition, so they transitioned into the zinc coated steel planchets, which everyone thinks are rare, but in reality they're not. Now they are rare if you find one that's from 1944, because they should not have ever gone on the 1944 coins. If you find this coin, you're in for a real treat, guys. Make sure you keep it very safe. Do not damage it, because $408,000 for this coin is what it sold for. I'm not going to spend too much time on this coin, but this is an 1856 1-cent coin graded by PCGS at a proof 67 plus with a CAC sticker. This is what collectors call a flying eagle cent coin. They are indeed genuine. Most of them are not worth anywhere near $240,000, but because this is a monster grade, it's in such great condition. It has good eye appeal, has nice toning. It sold for $240,000. $504,000 for this 1943 coin. Now, essentially, this is the reverse of that other coin I showed you. This coin, this 1943 coin, should have been struck on a zinc-coated steel planchet, but it was accidentally struck on a bronze planchet graded by PCGS at a Mint State 63 brown with a CAC sticker. There are a lot of counterfeits out there of this coin, so if you have one, look at this example on the screen and do diagnostic checks comparing the two. But even then, you want to get the opinion of multiple people before you try to sell your coin, because you don't want to be wasting time trying to sell a fake coin when in reality it's worth nothing. Either way, we know this coin that sold for $504,000, and keep your eyes peeled for it. I'm just going to show a few more examples of lower graded condition ones. This one graded by PCGS at a Mint State 62 brown. Same deal here, accidentally struck in a bronze planchet. This one sold for $372,000. This one really quick is a 1909 VDB coin that sold for $12,995. Essentially, this one was accidentally cleaned. That was a big mistake on their part, because that really decreased the value of the coin. It is indeed UNC, which means uncirculated, but there are details of it being cleaned. So again, this beautiful 1909 coin with no mint mark sold for $12,995. This coin sold for $840,000. Now, the biggest reason why is we know this is a transitional coin that was accidentally struck on a bronze planchet graded by PCGS, a Mint State 64 brown. The biggest thing on this coin is the grade and the market conditions. I mean, this coin was sold at a time when collectibles were going through the roof, and there were probably a few collectors that had a bidding war against each other for this coin, and that's the main reason why this coin sold for $840,000. If you enjoyed this video, smash that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one.